Hello, and welcome to Colorado Springs Hypnosis, your resource for hypnosis and hypnotic things. Today we're going to do some hypnosis to help you improve your posture. That's right. Improving your posture is a very important thing to do for a couple of reasons. First of all, as people tend to get older, if they've had poor posture their whole life, they start to slump over more and more like this, and it's just not extremely healthy for you. So by always having good posture and being mindful of the way that you're standing, you'll find that as you get older, you'll continue to maintain that good posture. The other reason that it's kind of important is because there's a direct connection between the way you pose yourself and your confidence levels and your self-esteem. You'll find that a lot of the times, people that tend to have lower self-esteem or a little bit less confidence, they do tend to slouch down a little bit more. They do tend to lean forward. And by just pulling back, putting your chest out, pulling back your shoulders, you'll find that that can actually have a mental effect and increase your confidence and increase your self-esteem. So, quick caveat before we get started: don't do this while driving. Don't do this while operating heavy machinery. You will have your eyes closed. You'll be doing some visualizations and things of that nature. Also, I'm going to tell you before you get all zoned out and trancy and everything. If you do like the video, feel free to like it. Feel free to subscribe. And I do appreciate it when people leave comments so I can A, know whether or not you like the video, but also B, that's a good place to say, hey, I'd like to see a video about this or that or the other thing. Obviously, I'm not going to do a video about skydiving or anything, but if there's something you'd like to use hypnosis for, maybe I'll make a video about it and, help you make those changes in your life. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing I'd like you to do is actually sit down somewhere. In some of my videos, I say that you can sit or lie down, but in this particular one, since we're working on posture, I really think it would be better if you sit, because there will be a point where I have you actually feel what it feels like to have good posture. All right, it doesn't have to be like an office chair or anything like that, but definitely kind of pick a chair or pick a place where you can sit all the way up against the back and you can sit up relatively straight. All right, the next thing we're going to do is I'd like to have you go ahead and place your hand up at about a 45-degree angle, and you can let your wrist relax. And I want you to go ahead and focus on a point on your wrist. That's right. And as you stare at that point, I want you to really draw your focus into it. Just sitting there, staring at that point on your wrist. That's right. And now what I'd like you to do is I would like you to imagine that you're placing a large gold bracelet on your wrist. As a matter of fact, go ahead and close your eyes now. And I'd like you to really see that gold bracelet on your wrist. It could just be smooth and gold. It could be encrusted with diamonds. It can be however you'd like it to look. And as you're looking at that gold bracelet on your wrist, I'd like you to feel the weight of that gold. Gold is such a weighty material. Go ahead and really feel that weight. And now I'd like you to go ahead and in your mind, go ahead and place another gold bracelet on your wrist. And feel the weight of that. And feel the weight as your arm gets heavier and heavier and heavier. That's right. And at this point, don't even fight with the weight anymore. Just allow your arm ever so slowly to drift down. And as your arm drifts down, feeling the weight of those gold bracelets, you can drift further and further as you go further and further into a trance. That's right. And if you need to, go ahead and place another gold bracelet on your wrist, feeling even more weight. And another gold bracelet, and just let your wrist get so heavy. That's right. Going lower and lower and lower as you go deeper and deeper and deeper. And you can just allow that arm to float all the way into your lap now. And as you sit there with your eyes closed and you feel how relaxing it feels to allow that hand to just sit in your lap now. I'm going to count from 10 down to 1. And with every number, you can allow yourself to go deeper into the relaxation. That's right. So 10, going twice as deep. 9, the deeper you go, the better you feel. 8, the better you feel, the deeper you go. 7, that's right, going twice as deep. 6, 5, 4, going ever so deep now. 3, 2, wonderful. And I imagine that as you sit down here now, nice and rested and relaxed, already beginning to access all of the wonderful resources of your mind. You can imagine that there's an even deeper place that you could be. As a matter of fact, I know that your subconscious mind knows of that deeper place. That place where learning is just so much easier. And that place where the imagination is so much more powerful. So go ahead and allow yourself and allow your unconscious mind to drop you into that place now. Very good. Feels good, doesn't it? And of course, your unconscious mind knows an even deeper place that you can go, where your imagination is even more powerful, and where you have even more resources at your disposal. So allow your unconscious mind to take you to that place now. And as you sit there, listening to the sound of my voice, relaxing, drifting, floating, and dreaming, I'd like you to tell you a story about a TV show that I was watching one time. And it was about that dog whisperer. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's brilliant the way that he works with people's dogs. And he went to this gentleman's house, and this gentleman had a dog. I believe it was a little bit younger, and he was having a lot of problems trying to take this dog out because the dog was afraid of everything. It was afraid of other dogs, it was afraid of other people, it was practically afraid of its own shadow. And you could see it when the dog moved. In the house, it was happy and its tail was high and it was just fine. But the second they would go outside, the dog would hunch down and his tail would drop down between its legs. And it was just like that all the time. And you could just absolutely tell that this dog was completely and utterly miserable. And of course, that was the problem, because he was like, I really want to take my dog out, but he's afraid of the whole world. So the dog whisperer had a brilliant idea, and he fashioned this vest that the dog could wear around its chest. And the vest had a little rod on it that you would hook up to the dog's tail, and it would pull the dog's tail up into the air. And I remember I was sitting and looking at this, and I was like, I don't know what this guy is doing. But they took the dog outside, and he starts walking the dog, and slowly but surely the dog started to gain confidence. And all of a sudden it was as if the dog was no longer afraid of anything, because he had his tail held high in the air. And it was extremely interesting because, a couple of days went by and he would take his dog for walks with this, contraption on, and it would force the dog to have that high tail, and that dog was filled with confidence, and the dog was no longer afraid of anything. And after a while, he started taking the dog out without the vest on anymore, and the dog's tail was still high, and the dog was still filled with confidence. And I remember how amazing it was to me that just by changing the way that dog stood and walked around, it changed that dog's entire disposition. Going even deeper now, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's right, just letting my voice guide you, drifting, floating, dreaming. And in reality, it doesn't matter whether you listen or not, because your subconscious mind hears everything. And it will take in all of the resources and all of the suggestions that are right for you. And anything that is not, it can discard if it chooses, or it could just hold on to for later. So there are different parts of all of us. There are the parts of us that make us crave certain foods. There's parts of us that control our habits and behaviors. As a matter of fact, there's a part of many of us that causes us to want to slouch down, almost bending over. It causes our neck to drop and our chin to drop down. And I'd like you to take a moment and find that part of you now. Now, every part of us that does anything does it for a reason. And in general, one of the reasons that it tends to do something is to keep us safe. And another reason that it tends to do things is to keep us happy. So I'd like you to take a moment now and ask that part, why have you been making me slouch? Why have you made my posture so poor? Just go ahead and wait a few minutes and allow it to answer you, whether on a conscious or an unconscious level, whether it's a vision or a feeling or you actually hear something. Go ahead and take a moment to get that answer now. Now, as I was saying earlier, we have many different parts of us, parts that do all sorts of things. And I'd like you to go now to that part of you that is responsible for your creativity. It's the part that helps you come up with new ideas. It's the part that helps with your problem solving. And today it's going to be the part that comes up with new ways to act instead of slouching. It'll give you new behaviors that can meet that same need. So go ahead and ask that part now to come up with at least 3, 5, maybe even 10 ways, 10 habits that you can take on that will fulfill that same need that you were fulfilling by slouching. And go ahead and ask that part to come up with those ways now. Go ahead now and take all of those new habits and behaviors and make sure that the part of you that has been slouching and that has had poor posture, make sure that that part of you is completely okay with some of or all of these new ways that you can behave instead of slouching. And of course, if all those ways are good, or if at least some of those ways are good, you can go ahead and make those a part of you now. And if they're not good, then you can take the creative part and have it speak to the part of you that used to slouch. And you can have those two combined come up with a handful of ways that you can act and behave instead of slouching. And you can do that now. And of course, because you've decided to listen to this today, because you've decided to go through these steps, you can be proud of your choice to stand up straighter, to feel better. And because over the next couple of days, the next couple of weeks, you'll notice yourself beginning to stand up straighter. And of course, when you realize that you do have poor posture, you will correct it. You can feel more confidence, and you can feel way better about yourself. And of course, with that confidence can come more pride, and with more pride, you'll find more good posture. And all these things will continue to feed each other, making you feel better and better. That's right, going even deeper now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And over the next couple of days and the next couple of weeks, you will notice the color red. And you don't have to look for it consciously. Subconsciously, you will find that color, whether it's a stoplight or a brake light or a banner or a flag or a poster. It could be as large as a fire truck. It could be as small as an LED light. But every time you see that color red, you'll be reminded to stand up straight and be proud and confident. Every time you see that color red, you'll know that all of these suggestions have sunk in and made you feel better and better about yourself. And that's right. And every time you see that color, red, 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 it'll remind you to be successful. And that's right. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5, and you'll come back to the room and you'll feel absolutely fantastic. But first, I want you to take a few moments sitting there to straighten your back out, pull out your shoulders, and push out your chest. And as you stand up straight, feeling fantastic, I want you to notice the confidence that is pulling into your body now. Notice the feeling of pride that comes when you sit up straight, when your back is straight, when your posture is proud. That's right. Notice that wonderful way that you're sitting and keep that posture and hold on to that feeling. And I want you to hold on to it all the way to the point where you come back to this room. So, 1, take in a deep breath. 2, still sitting up straight and feeling fantastic and proud and wonderful. 3, wiggling your fingers and your toes. 4, stretching out, sitting up straighter. And 5, opening your eyes and feeling absolutely fantastic. That's right. How wonderful does it feel right now to be sitting up straight and wonderful? How wonderful does it feel to feel that confidence seeping into your mind and into your body? Well, I'd like to thank you again for coming and listening today. And as always, feel free to like, feel free to subscribe, and if you have any thoughts or feelings on this, go ahead and leave a comment. Thank you very much. Goodbye.